election season, Nigerians passionately debate who deserves to lead the country. We argue over certificates, age, wealth, popularity, ethnicity, political party, and campaign promises. Yet you often overlook the one quality that may matter most. No president can personally run the economy, defend the nation, build roads, teach in classrooms, or perform surgeries in hospitals. The real test of leadership may simply be the ability to choose the right people, set the right direction, and hold them accountable. That is where the conversation about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's leadership becomes interesting. Leadership is one of the most misunderstood jobs in public life. Many people expect a president to know everything and fix everything. They want one person to understand medicine like a doctor, law like a top lawyer, economics like a professor, security like a general, and engineering like an expert builder. That sounds nice on paper, but it's simply not possible. No government job today is small enough for one person to master it all. Think about any big company. The CEO doesn't do every job personally. The CEO builds a vision, brings in the right people, gives out responsibilities, and pushes for results. Success depends on the people the CEO picks, not just what the CEO knows. Government works the same way, just on a much bigger scale. So the real question is this: if no one person can know everything, what should citizens expect from a president? The answer for many is judgment. A good president should know how to spot capable people, set clear priorities, and hold his team accountable. Leadership, in this view, is not about being the smartest person in the room. It is about creating a system where smart people can do their jobs well. This is the idea reasonable people use to explain why they respect Tinubu's approach. People who see it this way say Tinubu has focused on building a team instead of trying to run every ministry himself. He sets the direction. His ministers and heads of agencies handle the technical work. You may agree or disagree with this style, but it shows a clear philosophy. Delegate, then hold people accountable. It also raises a bigger question. How should we judge leadership in a country as big and as different as Nigeria? Nigeria's problems touch every part of life. The economy, education, healthcare, security, farming, mining, roads, power, and technology all need specialized knowledge. Each area has its own risks and demands. No president, no matter how smart, can personally handle every detail. That is exactly why appointment matters so much. Who a leader picks to work with him is one of the biggest decisions he will ever make. Wise people say Tinubu's choice of ministers and head of agencies shows an effort to bring in people with real practical experience. They argue that big certifications do not automatically make someone a performer. Practical skill and the ability to solve problems under pressure matter just as much. In their view, the goal isn't to pick the most qualified persons on paper. It is to pick the person who can actually deliver results. This argument goes further into how performance is managed. Public reports shows that Tinubu's administration has fired and replaced some officials when they were found wanting. People see this as proof that performance is being watched, not ignored. Critics may say the changes came too late or weren't enough. But either way, this conversation matters. Accountability is one of the most important things we should expect from any focused leader. A few names come up often when people discuss Tinubu's style of leadership. Iyesom Wike, the minister of the FCT, is mentioned a lot because of visible projects in Abuja. Officials in charge of digital innovation, mining, defense, aviation, works, internal affairs, and monetary policy (CBN) are also discussed regularly. Nigerians don't all agree on how well these officials are doing, but they remain central to the reforms happening and where the country is heading. This idea that leadership is about building strong teams is not unique to Nigeria. Around the world, the most successful leaders in government and business are remembered for the people they gathered around them. History shows that strong institutions rarely depend on one superhuman individual. They depend on groups of skilled people working toward the same goal. The leader's job is to keep that team focused on delivering for the people. People also point back to Tinubu's years as governor of Lagos State. Many officials who served under him in Lagos later went on to hold major national positions. To supporters, this shows a pattern. A leader who spots talent early and gives people room to grow. Others may read that history differently, but it remains part of the bigger conversation about his record. Of course, judging any government is never simple. Some Nigerians look at the economy, inflation, jobs, the exchange rate, and the cost of living. Others focus on roads, security, hospitals, schools, or reforms to public institutions. Others care most about transparency and respect for democratic rules. Each of these angles give a different, valid picture of how a government is performing. This is why people disagree so much about the same government. Two people can look at the same policy and reach two different conclusions based on their own life and priorities. A farmer sees things differently from a business owner. A student worries about different things than a retiree. Where you live in Nigeria can also shape how you feel national policies are affecting you. Public debates get healthier when we accept that reasonable people can disagree. Democracy grows stronger when citizens question policies, demand evidence, and hold leaders accountable without assuming that everyone who disagrees is acting in bad faith. Criticism, when it's fair, helps the government improve. Praise, when it's earned, encourages good performance to continue. Both matter as long as they are based on facts, not just emotion. Another lesson from leadership is that reforms take time. Some policies show results almost immediately. Others take years before their full impact is felt. Big changes to the economy, to institutions, to education, or to security rarely transform a country overnight. Citizens naturally want quick results, but smart governments often work on long timelines. This gap is part of why people argue about how soon a government should be judged. Recent political conversations in Nigeria don't always center on policy. Personal loyalty, history, ethnic identity, and party affiliation shape a lot of what people believe. Emotion often speaks louder than a careful analysis. This isn't only a Nigerian problem. It happens in every democracy in the world. But recognizing it can help us argue with more balance and less heat. Perhaps the better question for voters isn't, is this leader perfect? No leader is. Every government makes decisions that draw both praise and blame. The more useful question is whether things actually moved from where it was. Are institutions getting stronger? Are public services working better? Is the country moving in a good direction over time? This is the lens Tinubu government should be judged through. The quality of his appointments, his efforts at reform, and his willingness to make changes when things aren't working. Critics point to the high cost of living and other economic struggles still facing everyday Nigerians. Both sides are part of ongoing conversation about governance and accountability. In the end, every voter has a duty to look closely at the facts before forming an opinion. Political campaigns love to turn complex issues into slogans. Civic duties require us to look past the slogans at the evidence, the policies, and the actual results. It also means listening to people who see things differently from us, even when it's uncomfortable. Leadership will always be one of the most argued about topics in any democracy because everyone feels its effects. Roads, schools, hospitals, jobs, and the economy all depend on the quality of leadership. Whether you judge a government by its team, its policies, its numbers, or something else, one thing is clear: thoughtful evaluation matters, and in the end, honest debates built on evidence and respectful disagreements is one of the strongest foundations Nigeria's progress can stand on.
People of the Fountain.